It was aliens. I'm just kidding. However, Stonehenge has had a varied history, and people still aren't really sure as to why it was made, although it's had a lot of uses throughout history, apparently. But quoting a National Geographic article, the monument's mysterious past has spawned countless tales and theories. According to folklore, Stonehenge was created by Merlin, the wizard of Arthurian legend, who magically transported the massive stones from Ireland where giants had assembled them. Another legend says invading Danes put the stones up, and another theory says they were the ruins of a Roman temple. Modern-day interpretations are no less colorful. Some argue that Stonehenge is a spacecraft landing area for aliens. I knew it! And even more say it's a giant fertility symbol in the shape of female genitalia. Regardless of the original intent, and right or wrong, people show up by the thousands every single year on the shortest day of the year to mark the rebirth of the unconquered sun, otherwise known as the winter solstice, which was on the 21st, so it was within the last couple of days. But it gives me an excellent segue to talk about one of the more interesting mysteries regarding Stonehenge and some information that's come out about it recently. This video suggestion was given to me by Squiddles McRockbones over on my Discord channel. If you haven't yet, please check it out. Also, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It tremendously helps the channel. I also have a Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel in that manner. Relevant links will be in the description. Let's dig into some information. And it just so happens I've been given a really nifty article for this one. It's via the Washington Post and written by Ben Guarino. This is actually from 2019, but it's fascinating information, so we're going to delve right into this. A team of archaeologists in the United Kingdom says it has traced dozens of Stonehenge's massive rocks to two quarries in western Wales. The rocks, called Bluestones after their bluish-gray hue, were transported 180 miles, dragged on wooden sleds by teams of strong men, the scientists believe, to form the inner circle of the monument that towers over the Salisbury Plain. Two bluestone quarries named, I am not even trying that, were excavated about 3000 BC according to the authors of a study published this week in the journal Antiquity. Expeditions at the quarries from 2014 to 2016 recovered ancient charcoal and stone tools. In some places, the charcoal was mixed with dirt and stones to form flat platforms, which may have been used like loading bays to distribute massive pillars, says Michael Parker Pearson, an archaeologist at University College London, and an author of the new study. Among the Welsh hills, bluestones erupted from the ground. Here, millions of years ago, sheets of magma slowly cooled into columns. Eons passed, and softer rock around the magma eroded. Only the jagged bluestones remained. That's really cool. Prehistoric workers probably exploited natural weaknesses in these structures, Parker Pearson said. Quote, "They're nearly vertical," he said. "All you've got to do is get a lasso around each one and pull." End quote. With ropes and simple tools, such as sandstone wedges shoved into the outcrop's joints, excavators may have plucked out a pillar as cleanly as a loose tooth. Those on top of the outcrop could have carefully slackened their rope to control the pillar's descent to a platform below, the authors wrote. From there, workers may have lowered a stone 6 feet long and weighing 2 to 4 tons onto a wooden sled to haul. Bluestones are big, but not so big that a burly group of stone men couldn't drag them across the countryside, said Nicholas Pearce, a geochemist at, there's another one, Aberystwyth University in Wales. It's a university in Wales. Who was not involved with the current study. These pillars are, quote, the IKEA version of Neolithic megaliths, Parker Pearson joked. The stones peel off the outcrop as though from ready-to-use kits. Unlike the people who crafted Egypt's obelisks from much larger rocks, Stonehenge's builders did not need to rework the bluestone pillars. The bluestones, which are speckled with fingernail-sized deposits of white minerals, form an inner horseshoe and ring at Stonehenge. These rocks, though impressive, are not Stonehenge's biggest. The imposing sandstone trilithons, the 3-part structures, made of 2 vertical stones and a horizontal top, are larger and more locally sourced, though their exact origins are unknown. Previous chemical studies linked the bluestones to the Presley Hills in Pembrokeshire, Wales. Quote, "That's the only place you get that particular rock type," end quote, Pierce said. Humans buried at Stonehenge probably came from this region of Wales, too. Remains at the site contain isotopes consistent with life near the quarries. Just a few miles separate the two outcrops. Standing on one quarry, it's possible to see the other, Pierce said. Radiocarbon dating indicates that the quarry charcoal is about 5,000 years old. The Welsh charcoal and Stonehenge remains suggest a connection in time as well as space. Quote, "We've got dates for both quarries that link nicely with the first dates at Stonehenge," Parker Pearson said. The Bluestones and early Welsh travelers could have arrived at the Salisbury Plains together. There's about 100 years of fuzziness in the radiocarbon dating, though. Quote, "It could be immediate. It could be 100 years from getting from point A to point B," end quote, Parker Pearson said. Unexpectedly, the quarries are on the northern side of the hills. The south side is closer to the ocean where, according to one hypothesis, prehistoric travelers floated bluestones along the coast. An attempt to replicate a bluestone float failed spectacularly in 2000. However, when a raft carrying a stone sank close to shore. Parker Pearson and his colleagues suspect that the stones were transported over land instead of on sledges. The existence of the quarries, quote, "conclusively invalidates the misconception that Ice Age glaciers pushed the bluestones into the region," the authors of the new study said. Wales, what are you doing? Bournemouth University archaeologist Timothy Darville, who was not involved with this study, said that geological evidence points to several other sources of stone, including a site called Carnmanon. Routes between Wales and Stonehenge remain speculative, Darville said, though he agreed stones probably moved over land rather than by sea. Among Europe's megalithic structures, Stonehenge is an oddity. Most other prehistoric builders did not stray more than 10 miles to collect stones for their monuments. Why craft Stonehenge from such far-flung pieces? Parker Pearson offered one idea. He suggested that Stonehenge was a unifying symbol for British tribes, constructed during what may have been a period of economic and population decline. Quote, "A major event like this," he said, "would have brought together disparate communities that were growing apart." So to add some additional context about these stones, bluestone is a cultural or commercial name for a number of generally volcanic stones. In this particular case, they refer to dolerites that are found in the United Kingdom. These are also known as diabase. One side of the pond likes to use one or the other, but a lot of geologists like to use the term microgabro to avoid any kind of confusion. Now, a lot of people associate Stonehenge with Druids, but as far as I'm aware and as far as my understanding is concerned, this was created thousands of years before Druids were really on the scene in Britain. However, my gut reaction is this was probably created for some kind of religious purpose. And at the very least, that's really what it's used for in a lot of cases today as well. Regardless, very interesting. The Bluestone especially is something of note. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this content, and thank you once again to Squiddles McRockbones for suggesting this video and giving me some interesting information about it. I hope you all had a wonderful day, and please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It tremendously helps the channel. Have a great day.